Thank you, Swati. Namaskara. Good evening to everybody. A very warm welcome to the School of Ancient Wisdom, Spiral of Wisdom Satsangs that happen every Thursday. Before we start, may I request Swati to say the school prayer.
Good evening, everyone. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati. So, for those who are new to the School of Ancient Wisdom, Satsang is called the Spiral of Wisdom. I'll be a host for today. My name is Ramesh Ake. Been with the School of Ancient Wisdom. Had the good fortune of associating with the School of Ancient Wisdom for many years. And this prayer that we chant is an allusion to the fact that we're all interconnected. We are a soul having a human journey. We are that hidden light in every being, which is connected with that hidden love. So I'm very happy once again to reintroduce Adarsh Narayan. This is a continuation of what we did last week. In fact, he will also be giving us a quick recap of last week, a very pertinent topic today, which is very relevant for the world at the moment. It is on, just a moment, let me open that file. Relationships and healthy boundaries. So Adarsh we've had the good fortune of hearing him earlier, in earlier satsangs, I think earlier this year and last year as well. So without much more ado, I'll give a quick introduction to him and then I will hand the dais over to Adarsh. So Adarsh Narayan is a certified therapist in transpersonal regression therapy. He brings over a decade of experience in guiding individuals towards healing and self-discovery. As an alumnus of Sri Satya Sai Educational Institutions, his journey blends wisdom, compassion, and spirituality. With over 700 sessions transforming lives, Adarsh Ji offers a safe professional space for unlocking your inner potential and aligning with your true self. So it's really nice to have you back with us, Adarsh Ji. I'm very curious to hear what you've got to say as you take this forward. So over to you now. Namaskar.
Thank you, Ramesh ji. As usual, it's a wonderful audience, and thank you so much for the quick introduction. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you for bringing me in again. As I always mention this, I love the quality audience that is in this platform, and it is a pleasure to speak when the people are actually, very interested to interact and learn. So my idea today is just to share what I already know. It's a collective experience of what I have learned in my training programs, what I have learned through several workshops done by my seniors or my mentors. And it is most of the content is mostly out of my own experience with my clients and my personal experience in terms of relationships. We all always, relationships, we find it very entangled, and there are so many complications into it. This is one topic that nobody is very comfortable speaking up. I think even a lot of therapists, even a lot of motivation speakers, even a lot of people who want to discuss this, they often feel my relationship itself is not going well, and how would I speak about the relationship of other people? So this is the space where most of us are in. So I'm not an exception. I'm not having a perfect relationships as such. I do not have a perfect boundary as such, even in the topics, but I'm working on it. And as I was working on it, I am finding good results. So I want to share those results, maybe that wisdom and ideas with this audience. And it will be, I think it will be an interesting topic, and it is also, some people may even find it offensive. Some people may find it interesting. Some people might find it enlightening. I don't know. What is best for the audience may show up in our space today. and thank you so much for having me here. So we last time uh, I had started with a basic idea of what is a boundary and why we need it, why a healthy boundary is needed, and how do we identify the boundaries. I had a very brief talk in it, maybe hardly I have spoken for 15 minutes. So I will use the same uh, presentation slides. Maybe I'll even use a whiteboard if that comes to it. But mostly I'm talking, talking, talking. So, and if time permits, we will also do a uh, quick regression, not a regression exactly, quick group session where we all help ourselves to create some boundaries. If time permits, we will do that also. So just to make the session interesting, rather, I don't want to simply uh, go on talking, talking, talking. So I will go here and there. I will share something more. Okay. So at any point in time, feel free to interrupt if you have anything that is bogging your mind. You want to know what this is. Please feel free to ask, and I will be happy to assist and answer. All right. So
Before you start, I just wanted to
yeah,
ask you, what do you mean by transpersonal regression therapy? Transpersonal?
uh, transpersonal. It involves a very personal experience. It also includes a trance experience. Basically, it is a regression therapy. Regression is going backwards in time, so it goes into current life. It goes beyond the past lives, but we do not use hypnosis as such. Uh, it's a combination of your feelings, emotions, and the energy is already present in the body. Transpersonal regression therapy is also called as a TASO, and it's a Netherlands-based institution, and they offer a very authentic way of dealing with traumas across lifetimes and to current life traumas. So it's called transpersonal regression therapy. It's a
Is it any
specific modality.
is it any different from past life regression?
It is. It is. It is much more deeper than just a past life regression. They look into the past life regression as a very deep healing way, including catharsis, including revisiting the past traumas, and it is much more easier and simpler in terms of releasing the traumas without re-traumatizing the client. In many past life regression therapies, the client gets re-traumatized because by revisiting the past trauma. But in this modality, it is very nicely designed and it is much more deeper, so gives long-term results and it does not traumatize the client. Yeah. Okay. I need a sharing option. Okay, I have it. Hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, it is. And also, could we request everybody to go on mute, please? Nya Hope Financial, yeah, if you could just mute, that'll be good. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Relationships and boundaries. Now, why we talk about boundaries and what is the need of a boundary? Why do you really need a boundary? Is to define, make a difference between what is your story, what is not your story. I had last time shared an interesting example. I think I will go ahead with the similar kind of an example. Um, I meet two kind of people in my professional life. One category of people usually come to me. They have difficulty identifying what is their actual problem or what is their problem. They talk about everybody else. They talk about him, his, their parents, their daughters, their sons, their spouses, their friends. They go all around the place, but they find it very difficult to understand or identify what is theirs in the entire story. My husband is like this, my wife is like this, my brother is giving me trouble, my son is not listening to me, my daughter is never listens to me. This list goes on and on and on. They keep talking for hours together if I allow them to talk, but they don't know what is their story because they have zero boundaries. Their stories and everybody else's stories all mixed up. So I am not able to find or understand what is my true story. So how do you find what is your story? By putting yourself in the center of the story. Okay, this is me. Everything that is a consequence of my choice is my story. So I need to understand what is my story and what is my choices, what is my consequences. So when I start putting myself in the center, okay, this is my choice, so the consequence also belongs to me. This is my choice, okay, this consequence also belongs to me. Okay, this choice I made went horribly wrong, so the consequence also has gone horribly wrong. So now this is my problem, this is my story now. Uh, my partner, maybe life partner, maybe business partner, maybe spouse, he is so and so. So I have a problem with my partner. If somebody comes to me saying this, then he is not the problem. That's not your story. How that person behaves, he or she or whoever it is, how the other person behaves is out of your zone. It is not in your control. You cannot control how the other person behaves. So you need to identify yourself, why you are with this person, why this person is in your zone, and what is he doing to you. So when you do this, proper identification of your choice and consequences, what is in your control, what is not in your control, and how do you define and go about it, then you are putting yourself in the center. When you are putting yourself in the center, you are able to differentiate between your story and somebody else's story. And then you also start working on respecting somebody else's choices and their consequences. So whenever we work on our own choices and our own consequences, we are putting ourselves in the center. It's as simple as that. And as we put ourselves in the center, we start understanding what is my story, what is not my story. The simplest example would be I call a friend of mine, I need to talk to him, and I need 10 minutes of his time. So as I call him up, he says, I'm in a meeting. And he says, I'll call you back. Minding my own business is most important to me now. So what is my business? I want to talk to him. I want to understand whether he has time to speak to me. And I want to put forward what I need to discuss with him. If I know my boundaries, my conversation will end there. Okay, you're in a meeting. Okay, let me call you back some other time. Or you let me know whenever you are free and you can call me back. Conversation stopped. If I do not have a boundary, what happens? You're in a meeting. Where? So he is now bound to respond to me. He gets uncomfortable, but he still responds to me. Um, I'm in my client place. Where is your client place? Then he is again now puzzled. Then he makes up something. He answers again. But my boundaries are still not defined. So I say, okay, so what time you be free? He said, maybe half an hour. So can I call you back after half an hour? I'm already wasting his time. I'm already making him uncomfortable. I am still talking to him, talking to him, but I'm not stopping. I am way beyond my boundaries now because it is his choice to answer me and it is my choice to stop. And I'm not taking consideration of my own choices. I'm not seriously taking his responses also. I am simply wasting his time because I have no boundary. I don't know where to stop my story. And I don't understand. This is his story. Where does he do the meeting is his story. It's not my story. Whether he goes to a therapist, whether he goes to a counselor, whether he goes to a temple is not my story. Whether he talks to his wife or not is not my story. Whether he tells me how his life is going on or not is not my story. I need to limit to myself, to my understand and put myself in the center, understanding my own story. Why? Because if I don't have a boundary, then I am not doing my role also properly. I am now everybody comes with a dharma. Mama dharma. It is my story. Is as a As a son, I have a defined way of living. Now, this is how a son is supposed to behave. This is what is right to do as a son. This is what is right to do as a father. This is what is perfect or right to be a king. Raja Dharma is there, Putra Dharma is there, Pati Dharma is there. There's so many dharmas defined by the ancient Indian culture. What are they defining? They are actually defining the boundaries, nothing but their boundaries. When you start violating your own boundaries, when you start overstepping into somebody else's spaces, we are naturally creating karma because we are passing negative information, negative feelings, and we are inflicting negative feelings into their spaces, and obviously those vibrations are going to come back to you. So when the karma comes back, so for your own well-being, have a healthy boundary. For your own peaceful death, by the time when we die. So Rameshji was talking about the past life regression. He asked me about it. I have found, not only me, I think a majority of past life regression therapists will agree with me that 90% of the unhealed traumas from the past, they are unhealed death experiences. They are not peaceful deaths. If you have a peaceful death, then it is easy to move on to next life, and you will not be carrying the burden of that life into the other. So if you want to have a peaceful life, have a healthy boundary, because if you are piling up with everybody else's problems in your life and you are not taking care of your own dharma, then obviously peaceful death becomes a mystery. Peaceful death becomes very, very difficult. So moving on. So this is the same thing that I was talking about. So thoughts, words, action, they are all aligned in one direction. And always think about, why do you do what you do? I'll come back to the same questioning of my friend when he's on call and I am trying to violate his boundary. What will happen? The why, if I dig into the why, then I will understand that I have no valid why to this. You know, uh, why should I know that what is he doing? What is the need of me knowing where in which client place he is sitting? I just want to talk to him and he does not have time. End of that story. But why do I still need to know so many things? Because I have my own voids, because I have my own issues, because I want to focus on somebody else's issues. That is why Big Boss is a hit, because it is somebody else's story and we are so keen to look into their stories. We look into their how they fight, what they say, how ugly words they use, how. So a very good celebrity posing as a very gentleman, his real attitudes show up in a reality show like that. We are very curious to see, oh wow, this is how this person behaves in reality. I'm now feeling satisfied because even I don't behave very properly in my own house. So now I know that this person also belongs to my category. So I'm feeling happy now. I'm feeling my void. So always think about, why do you do what you do? So when it comes to violating boundaries, when you're setting up healthy boundaries, this is the most important thing that most of us do not pay attention to. I call this a drama mode. It's also called a drama triangle. And there are more characters in the drama triangle, but these are the standard three. If you search for drama triangle, I think in Google also will give you a lot of information. As you look into uh, I think everybody can see the slides, right? It's all good.
All good, all good. Very nice.
So drama mode is a drama. It's a triangle. So somebody, let's say, I'll take a classic example of a friend. Let's talk about a monetary transaction between friends. It's the most common and simple example I can give. So, friend A is badly in trouble. He's going through a lot of problems. He's in need of money. He goes to friend B, says, "Please help me without, I'm really in a very bad position. Please help me out." So now, what's happening? He is in a victim zone. He's being a victim because he's in trouble. So his friend becomes his rescuer. This rescuer is going to help him with some money. Now the victim now has a space to breathe, and then he takes the help. Then he says, I will return it to you. I will, he will come up with some terms. So time passes, time passes, time passes. After some time, the rescuer is now trying to get the money back. But the victim's situation has not changed much. He is into his own stories. Now the rescuer tries to force the money from him, or he starts feeling victimized. The rescuer is now becoming the victim. Victim is feeling victimized because of a perpetrator or a situation, something. There is a persecutor. And now the rescuer has rescued the victim. After some time, the rescuer becomes the victim. The rescuer is now feeling, Yakappa help madade nanu ಇವನಿಗೆ. Why the hell did I support this person? Now, because of this person, I am getting into trouble. If I had this money, then I would have helped my mother with her treatments. If I had this money, if this person had given me the money back, then I would have actually, uh, could have joined this course, or I would have taken a tour to the South Africa. I could do so many things, but because this person is not giving me the money, then I am now feeling very bad about it. I am angry, I am frustrated, I am this, I am that. So many things come up now. Interestingly, now what he has become the victim. Now somebody else comes to his rescue, maybe lends him money, or maybe does something else. In some other way, somebody helps him out. Now that person has entered the triangle. After some time, that person starts feeling victimized. This person becomes the perpetrator. This triangle continues. All those people who are trying to help other people, I am very sure that you have been victimized also. So as a therapist, we are taught to do this, that you don't help the client, you also always enable and empower the client, but you don't help the client. We cannot help the client, especially we cannot rescue the client. So I do not follow up my clients. Why? Because the client has to come on his own or her own, and they have to book their own sessions, and I have to take it forward as they are voluntary coming. If I try to rescue the client, then I'll feel victimized after some time. So about 6-7 months ago, a client came to me. The client said, Adarsh, I have tried everything else. Nothing has worked for me. So you are the final person. I am really, really in a bad situation, and I have lost so much of money. I really, really need to do this. This has to happen. That has to happen. So I'm really depressed. So he has given himself a lot of labels. So he comes to me. I feel really bad for him. Oh, okay. And he comes from a very rich family. So I also feel like, okay, if I rescue this person, if I uplift this poor chap, then I will be a really good, very good person. So I go ahead and offer him therapy, and he is now in a complete victimized zone. He is blaming everybody else around him. He does not want to take charge of his life. He keeps blaming the prosecutor, persecutor. Keeps blaming the perpetrator. Perpetrator is everybody else other than him. Everybody else is a perpetrator for him. So he keeps doing this, keeps doing this. I keep doing therapy. Nothing changes in his life. No therapy, even breakthrough sessions happen. Nothing changes, no outcome. After 4 or 5 sessions, now I am feeling victimized. Why this guy is not healing? Why I am not able to heal this person? Why he is not acknowledging the healing? Now I am in such a hopeless situation. I suddenly realize, okay, I got into the triangle now. This is a drama triangle. I'm trying to rescue him. He does not want to take charge. So now he has become my perpetrator. I have become the victim. Anyways, once this was into my awareness, I made sure that I end the therapy right there and then. And I told him, once you are ready to take charge of your life, you can come back. So, anyways, such things happen. So never try to overstep the boundary. Never make decisions on somebody else. Have a healthy boundary. Let them take their own decisions. you can always suggest, you can give them choices, you can help them make choices. Never choose on behalf of them. You choose behalf of them, the consequence is going to bother you also. The repercussions of the choice will come back to you. The karma comes back to you. If it is my dharma to help the client find the root causes and heal them, but healing is client's responsibility. So that's what I am supposed to do. That is my dharma to do, to help the client, to enable the client, to empower the client. But I cannot rescue the client. I cannot forcefully heal him. I cannot force him to therapy. So that is where my boundary ends. Thinking about this, a very good example is this. This is another, it's a variation of the drama triangle. I am sure, I don't know how many people resonate with this. Uh, Please feel free to comment, feel free to respond. Because many of our parents are like this. Many spouses are like this. Many friends are like this. I call this a helicopter mode. It's a very common term. Helicopter parenting is what it is called when it comes to parents, where the children are literally haunted upon. They are followed by like this, hey, no, 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 you don't do this, you do this. No, 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 no science taking. You take commerce, become an auditor. I choose how good auditor you will be. But the boy or the child has no logical mathematical abilities. Out of the 8 multiple intelligences, the child has no such abilities. So child suffers. So who will take the responsibility of suffering? It's not, it was never the parents' choice to make. It Most of the time parents end up violating the boundaries of their children by choosing on their behalf, by help, instead of enabling and helping them to make choices, we keep making choices on their behalf. So when they are into real crisis, they don't know what to choose, they don't know how to choose. So we end up seeing suicidal notes, we end up seeing depression, anxiety, we end up seeing so much of mental conflicts in the children's spaces because they don't know how to choose, they don't know how to handle a crisis, because we never allowed them to handle a crisis. We took care of them in such an extent, we had no boundaries with the child, and now child suffers. This is a very common tendency these days. This also happens with friends, where the friends, they overstep, they make choices for you, they force you to do things that you really don't want to do. It also happens with the spouses, where uh, the spouse is direct to park. Uh, I have seen cases, I don't want to take names, but I have seen cases where the husband is driving the car, the wife is telling the husband where to park the car. Now, as an experienced driver, he definitely knows where to park the car. But still, the wife tends to tell him, "Oh, यहाँ park करो, वहाँ पे park करो, oh, वहाँ नीचे वहाँ लेके जाओ." So we say in a such a simple way, in a such a naturally we violate the boundary, and we don't want to, you know, take care of the simple fact that he can do that on his own, and we just have to be patient. So this kind of a helicopter mode will create a lot of violation of boundaries, and it keeps coming back to you. And finally, one fine day, we will start feeling victimized. The parents will be victimized by the children will be victimized by the parents, and the drama triangle continues. So, how do you define a boundary? As I already told you, your story, somebody else's story. You are always in the center of everything. And when you are in the center of everything, automatically things start falling into the place. Um, can I share a whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Can
Yes,
everybody see?
please. Yeah, we can.
All right. This is you. These are the choices and consequences of you. This is person B, the other person in your relationship. That person also has consequences and choices. Everything that is your choice and your consequences belongs to you. This is your story. Everything that this person makes, his choices, her choices, consequences also belongs to them. It is their story. As long as you're focusing on your own story, you're safe, you're neat, your boundaries are clear. Once this person starts stepping into your situation and starts making choices on your behalf, starts stepping into your space, your boundaries starting violating, then you are also doing the same thing on the other side. Finally, you both exchange victim rescuer triangle, and as a final outcome, the both persons are creating a soul level entanglement across lifetimes, and keep reversing the roles, keep going backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. This keeps happening, and this never ends. So as long as we are defining our own boundaries by having the right tools and techniques, the easiest way is to define, to understand that this is my story, this is my choice and my consequence. That's all I need to basically think about. I put myself in the center. When I put myself in the center, automatically I am following my own decisions. I am able to make right decisions, and then automatically I am able to follow what I need to do, and I can define my dharma. I can follow my dharma. I can have a peaceful, healthy life, and that can really create a good boundary for me. So that's how it actually works. It everything comes with you being in the center, and you are not a victim anymore, and you are in the ownership of your own choices and your own consequences. So what we can do, I feel, uh, is I can guide you through a quick meditation kind of a session, and you can all define your boundaries. Think about the people who keep violating your boundaries, and think about the people whom you violate on the other side. Okay, think about both sides. Think about this, think about that also. And as I give you the voice guidances, I think uh, it will be very natural and easy to define your own boundaries. And maybe going forward, you can enhance it by maybe drawing it in a paper, maybe thinking about those people who are already in your boundaries and things like that. Can we go ahead?
Yes, please.
All right. So let's take a moment to free ourselves from all other thought processes. Give ourselves a moment to breathe, to relax, and think about ourselves for a minute. Think about yourself for a minute. Start affirming your name and your age. I am so and so, I am so many years old, and I am fully present in the here and now. Whenever you're comfortable, close your eyes. Be very comfortably seated, and feel your feet to the ground. Feel your connection to the earth. Feel your connection and breathe very comfortably and very easily. As you breathe in, inhale all positivity. As you breathe out, exhale all stress, pain, and tension. With every breath that is going in, become more and more present. With every breath that is going out, become more and more relaxed. Breathe into the rhythm of your body. Very natural, very easy, yet very conscious and deep breathing. Mentally repeat your name and your age and become fully present with every breath. Feel your feet, become aware of your legs, thighs, and waist. Move your attention to your lower back, middle back, and upper back. Feel your neck, shoulders, arms, forearms, palm, and fingers. Become aware of your seating position. Move your attention to the texture of your clothes. Feel your clothes. Become aware how comfortable or uncomfortable is it. Feel your neck. Become aware of your face, nose, eyes, lips, and mouth. Feel your ears. Become aware of the earphones. Become aware of the voices and noises. Feel your hair from top of your head to the tip of your toes. Become fully and completely present in the here and now. As you breathe in and breathe out, imagine yourself in a room where you feel very comfortable and fully in control. It could be any of your physical room, it could be your bedroom, it could be your living room. Imagine, visualize yourself in that room, comfortably seated in a position. Associate yourself into that room and become very, very, very comfortable. Keep repeating your name and your age as you focus on your breathing. Breathe in all positivity, breathe out all stress, pain, and tension. As you are comfortably seated in your room, start connecting to your own true divine source of energy within your body. You may find it somewhere near the center of your chest or near your gut. Feel, become aware of the light in the form of a small ball of light, center of your chest or in your gut, and keep connecting to your soul energy, a very pleasant yet powerful energy. Now, just with an intent, start expanding that energy and let it become bigger, 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 grow beyond your body, as if you are inside a ball of light, like a shell or like a very pleasant, very comfortable ball around you. It's your own energy, very pleasant yet powerful, your own energy. Now, slowly let this energy expand throughout this room, cleansing and energizing the room with your own energies. And now, this room represents your own personal space. Now, this room is now representing your own personal space. As you expand this energy to the edges of this room, sealing it completely and fully. And now, as this energy expands and defines your personal space, you may now become aware of some people, somebody you know, somebody you may not know, but you may find some people in your room who are within your boundary, who are violating your boundary, or you may be violating their boundary. But you too, you are entangled. You're finding them in your room as I count from 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3, and some people appear, one or more, who have no boundaries with you, or you have no boundaries with them. No boundary with you, or you have no boundary with them. And as you become aware of these personalities, mentally just look at them and say, I see you, I acknowledge you, I understand you, I see you, I acknowledge you, I understand you. Acknowledge their presence and thank them for showing up. It is time for you to draw a circle around you, a golden circle around you, just with an intent. Just wave your finger in the air, and you are now defining a circle around you. It's your very, very personal boundary. It's maybe just a few feet gap from you, and it's a golden, bright circle around you. And you now look at these people who are in your room. You now tell them, I intend to set my boundaries for my own benefits and my own well being. I understand we seem to have very limited or no boundaries at all. I am truly sorry that I may have overstepped your boundaries. Please forgive me for overstepping into your space, into your decisions, into your choices, if I have. But I truly love you as a soul, and I'm open to learn what needs to be learned through this relationship. I'm truly sorry for not taking charge of my life, my choices and consequences, but I'm now open to learn these lessons of life easily and comfortably. I am allowing myself to have healthy boundaries in my relationships. And I now set you free from my space. And thereby, I am setting myself free. I reclaim my right to choose and to live in the here and now. I see you, I acknowledge you, I respect you, and I love you as a soul. And I'm truly sorry that I have weak boundary with you. Please forgive me that I did not take charge and may have overstepped into your boundaries as well. Or I may have allowed you to overpower or choose on behalf of me. Or I may have chosen on your behalf at times. I acknowledge the past and all such transactions we have been having, but now, I'm becoming aware of such things. I'm becoming aware of my boundaries. I'm taking charge of my life, taking responsibility of my own choices, understanding and respecting your own choices. And I am open to let go of the judgments. I allow myself to set you free, and I thereby allow myself to set myself free. I'm setting you free and I'm setting myself free. Say this and create a violet flame between you and these people around in your room. Let a violet flame show up on the floor. Intend to release all the words, phrases, sentences, oaths, vows, and curses you may have exchanged, the verbal transactions you may have had. Take a very deep breath and let go of all such words and phrases into the flame. Let them also do the same thing. Let them also release everything, all the oaths and vows and curses that can go now. Everything that can be released may be released. And offer it to the violet flame. As you do this, you may find some energy, some feelings, some words, phrases leaving you, reaching the flame. As it happens, receive your authentic energies back from the flame. What belongs to you comes back to you. Your words, your sentences, they are into pure consciousness and they are coming back to you. Gently close your fist, close your palm, and make a very powerful, very strong intent that I now release all the energy that belongs to these people from my space, from my body, from all levels of my consciousness. And everything that belongs to them goes back to them. So gently open your palm, and from your right hand, you will feel the energies belonging to all these people leaving you. It may feel like a color, vibration, maybe just a feeling, some kind of a quality. Something is leaving you. And from your left palm, your authentic energies from all those people is coming back to you. It may be your authentic consciousness. It may be your true energies. It may be some kind of a good qualities. It may be a vibration or a feeling or just a light. It may be even some negative feelings or thoughts also. If something negative is coming, it comes through the flame getting converted into pure consciousness. And you are receiving everything that belongs to you, giving back everything that belongs to them. This energy exchange keeps happening as I count all the way up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Done. Everybody is now free from somebody else's energies, and you are free from their energies. They are free from your energies. You now ask everybody to draw their own boundaries, golden circle. Each one of them draws a golden circle around them. Everybody keeps distance from each other. Now you again say, I now set you free, and I intend to have a most healthy, empowering relationship with you with a healthy boundary. And I respect your choices. You respect my choices. And as a soul, you are into your own stories. I'm into my own stories. And I respect you and love you. I acknowledge you and I see you. And I allow myself to have a healthy boundary with all of you. And as you do this transaction with a very good heart, with a light heart, with a good feeling, start expanding your circle. As you expand your circle, the golden circle around you, your own boundary, as you expand it, all these people start stepping backwards and they go out of your room. disappearing from your space. By the time you expand your golden circle matching to your personal space, this room, as your golden circle merges with the edges of this room, all other people would have stepped out into their own spaces. They would have gone back to their own bodies. Feel very refreshed, very relaxed. Feel your personal space. Feel the golden circle very strongly around you, attached to this room. And let it disappear, defining your own boundary. Let that circle define your own boundary. Put yourself in the center. Take responsibility of your choices and consequences. Relax and allow yourself to be free. And slowly come back to the present moment with all positive feelings and resources that you have received, your authentic energies as they come back to you. Slowly become aware of your surroundings. Slowly become aware of your dress, your hair, your entire body from top of your head to the tip of your toes. Become aware of your chair or wherever you are seated. Become aware of your physical room where you are in. Become aware of the voices and noises. Become aware of everything in the present moment. Become aware of my voice, this presentation. Come back to here and now. As I count from 1 to 5, you're completely coming back to the present moment. Start coming up at 1, further up at 2, becoming more and more aware at 3, fully and completely back as yourself, as the current adult of today. Repeat your name and you repeat your age mentally and say, I'm in charge of this body. I'm coming back to here and now. I'm back to here and now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling very refreshed, feeling very good about yourself. Is everyone completely back? Please respond. I want to make sure that everybody is back.
Yes, I'm back.
What about the other people? Should I count back? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling very refreshed, feeling very good about yourself. Feel your ground. Feel the breathing. Become more and more aware of your surroundings. And come back to here and now. Everybody, please respond that they are completely back so that we can continue. I mean, it's almost over now. Shall we continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. So as you set your boundaries, you can also do a lot of conscious work on setting up your own boundaries. And you can do that by focusing on your solar plexus chakra, which is meant to, define willpower. It also helps you to understand the control over life. That it is where you can define your own boundaries in a nice way. And you can also affirm with your self-love and acceptance. That's your heart chakra. And always deal with your fears and insecurities and start looking at the brighter side of life. Become a compulsive positive thinker. That is the best way to set a boundary. Because as long as you are finding faults in somebody else, you are in a victim zone and you are part of the drama triangle. Once you are out of the victim zone, it is easy to see the things as it is. And it is easy to understand, okay, this is my story, this is somebody else's story. And the other stories stop disturbing you. They don't bother you anymore. A lot of affirmations, techniques you can do, gratitude you can do to set boundaries. You can also heal a relationship. If you are healing a relationship, this is the first step to do it. And it is a very authentic and best way to do it. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please ask.
Thank you, Adarsh. So the floor is now open for questions. So please do ask your questions. Or any other comment that you might want to pass, or any observation that you might have. How was the meditation for you?
Yes, this is Prasad. Yeah, it was wonderful session actually. Before I did some mind and body meditation. Apart from this is a guided one, it is very helpful and very effective. Yeah, one question is that what you said, this is related to aura, or aura is again different one?
Aura is your energetic space. So what I said is, what I have done today is a combination of some energy work and some mental work. So it's a combination of NLP and energy work. Energy work has to do with your aura. But your aura is usually, it's not your boundary as such. It keeps your consciousness intact, very close to your body. It is your energetic space around you. It's like a magnetic field.
Okay.
And keeping your aura sealed is also very important. It also defines the boundary in terms of therapy, in terms of having healthy boundaries. We also often ask our clients to keep your aura sealed. In terms of therapy, we do work when we work with a client in therapy. We definitely also look into the cracks in the aura. We also help them seal their auras. We also help them change their vibrations to a higher level so that they don't attract the lower vibrations and things like that. So aura is also somewhere you can definitely relate to a boundary, but the boundary that I was talking about is mostly a mental and a conversational or transactional boundary is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It is most of a conscious work rather than a unconscious behavior. But saying that, in therapy we also find that we have past experiences where we lost our boundary because somebody overpowered us completely. Without my will, without my control, somebody completely overpowered. In cases of abuses, rapes, or things like that, where my boundary was into ashes, it was completely broken out. In such cases, people find it very difficult to do a conscious work on the boundary. In such cases, they need therapy.
Okay. One more thing, what about chakras? So if chakra is not aligned, even some challenges will be
If chakras are not aligned, then obviously they have direct effect on your emotions. Your emotions have direct effect on chakras and your entire prana and energy flow. So finally, if you have a chakra blocks for a long time, it appears as a physical problem.
Oh.
If you have a root chakra block for a very long time, then it may turn into a lower back pain. It may even, on a very, very long run, goes into something much more deeper also.
Okay. Right.
So I have a couple of questions myself, Adarsh, because whatever you spoke about was quite remarkable, because you've had experiences with real people, and out of your experience you've been sharing. So how does, because you mentioned about boundaries and how, like, I was thinking also about my own child, for example, because as parents, he's only 8 at the moment, but as parents, we believe that we know what's best, and maybe they're not wise enough to know yet. But in my son's case, he seems to be an old soul and an unusually sharp person with an excellent memory. So how do I help him find, or how do I identify what his swadharma is, so that I can, facilitate his growth in that area, or maybe match him to a suitable career in his life, and so on.
Yeah. What I would say is, I feel it is always good to understand the personalities of your children. What kind of personalities they have. They have been developing. He is very small now. His brain is still developing, and he is still acquiring knowledge and wisdom and information from every direction possible. So
Yes.
from one layer to the sixth layer, the brain grows from 0 to 6 usually. And by the time he is 8, he would also start getting a belief system set in a mental space. He will be developing belief systems. He will be learning from you, and he will be setting his own beliefs, his own understanding of life.
Yes.
So at this point in time, his personality profile makes a huge impact. For example, if he is a dominant personality, you telling him what to do will mostly, he will not be responding to it. He would rather go in opposite direction. If he is a dominant personality, he will not be obeying commands. He is not good at obeying commands. If he is a dove personality, who is a compliant personality, who is a survivor, the survivor will take your commands in a passive way. He will do his best to follow it. He will feel pathetic if he is not able to follow it. Okay. Then if he is a influential personality, then he is mostly seeking attention. He wants attention from every corner of the world, and he wants to be in the limelight. If he is an oval personality, then he is mostly into, likes to be in a corner, does not want to interact too much, does not want to talk too much, but he's a very deep thinker, like a scientist kind of a guy. So try to find which area he belongs to with his behavior, with some inputs on his multiple intelligences, or maybe you can do a DMIT test for him if you want to. That will give you
what test?
DMIT, Dermatographics Multiple Intelligence Test. It's a fingerprint analysis of children, which can give you an idea of how their brain is developing, what kind of what do you call it? It's a multiple intelligence. There are 8 types of intelligences, and how his brain is developing, and which side is he a logical person? Is he a right brained? Is he left brained? All these characteristics you can find with a DMIT test, and that software gives you a very detailed information about how it works, and now what kind of tendency he is having, what kind of learning methods he is into, and accordingly you help him make his choices. If he is an oval personality, then he is having a lot of difficulty in making choices. He may need assistance. Yes, Nalini, we can do this on adults also, but for adults, you also need a psychometric analysis, because over a period of time, you would have acquired more talents, more belief systems would have stepped into the form. So only fingerprint analysis may not be sufficient to find the personalities. So as I was saying, so yeah.
Is it useful to have such tests as a kind of mainstream option for mainstream education schools?
The many schools, they already have taken this stuff. I think in Japan and all, it's something very basic that they do in the early times. In India, it has DMIT has become more of a commercial aspect rather than a true helping to the children's. They usually do this as a mandatory thing, and they do the test, and then they simply dump a huge information of a software report, but they don't counsel the parents properly. A good counseling to the parents is also needed. I'm talking about this because I'm also certified in DMIT. So I used to do it earlier. Nowadays I don't do it, but one of my friend Anish, he has all the equipments and everything that it's needed to do the
Before you continue, I don't know if it is only my side, but your voice sounds a little electronic with a slight crackling. Is it only me, or is everybody else hearing the same way when Adarsh speaks? Your voice sounds a little electronic. It's crackling. Some crackling noises a bit.
Is it okay now? Or still same?
It's almost okay.
I'm not facing any issues.
Oh, okay.
It is very clear.
Oh, maybe that's my end then. Okay. So, Parameshwar ji asked, where can we do this test name?
It's a dermatoglyphics multiple intelligence test. DMIT is what is called shortly in short forms. Many people do it. It's an offline thing, and you need to give all the 10 fingerprints. It is mostly a career guidance tool used by most of the career guidance people, because once you find the personality, learning methods, and things related to it, it is possible to tell which line of career is most suited for the child. So they use it as a career guidance tool actually.
Dermatographics multiple intelligence test, is
Intelligence
it?
test. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in my son's case, what I've observed is he appears to be a dominant personality, but he listens. If you explain to him like how I would explain
Correct.
to an adult,
So
he
the
listens.
easiest way to handle a dominant personalities is make them aware of the consequences of their choices. They will make the right choices right there.
Exactly. Yes.
It's as simple as that.
Yes.
Don't tell them what to do. Tell them if you do this, this happens. If you do this, this happens.
Yes.
And
he
they
complies.
usually they choose because they do not have an issue with the choices. Whereas a
Right.
oval personality, dove personality, they have issue with choices. They get confused very quickly. Then you need more assistance in choosing them. But choosing on their behalf will not be helpful.
Yes. No, it's very clear that
Choices, yeah.
very clear that he has his own mind, but he is wise. I feel he's an old soul. So normally I don't have any problems there. But he's come now. He's been listening and he's come here. But he's got a photographic memory. Once, I mean, I remember when I went outstation and came back in 2 days, he learned Bhajagovindam on YouTube by himself. He literally asked his mother, just put Bhajagovindam, and he learned it by himself. I don't know why, who told him, but these are examples of some things that he has done. He's won gold medals in Olympics, things like that. And in fact, his teacher calls him scientist because he has read a lot of encyclopedia.
Nice.
So
Interesting.
yeah. I prayed for an old soul actually. I used to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for a long time, and I feel maybe this is a result of it.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
my other questions I had was you said 8 types of intelligence. I'm so curious. Is it possible for you to just tell us what those 8 types of intelligences are?
I will have to actually check and tell you because I don't remember them. It's been very long time since I've even spoken about this.
Wow,
So
it's a very fascinating thing. I didn't know there were 8. I know there's emotional and spiritual quotient and those kind of things, but I don't know what these 8 types
there
are.
are there are more than 8, but the 8 are very prominent ones. So there are people who are visual spatial. Visual spatial is their imagination and visual abilities are very high. They are the people who are into artists, people who are into art, drawing, and the people who are able to make amazing presentations, blah 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 blah, things like that. There are people who are verbal linguistic abilities. They capture languages very quickly. They learn any language without a translator. They understand. They talk very easily. Their language is their strength. It's a verbal capability. Then there are people musical intelligence where they can easily recognize the auditory notes, beats, and they are into it. They are very good musicians, of course, and they are also they have the ability, natural ability to pick up the beats and rhythms, notes. You don't have to actually teach them; they can naturally tune into it. Then there are people who are logical and mathematical. Um, their logical abilities are very high. Their mathematics is super powerful. They are mostly into science, data analysis, left-brained people. Then there are interpersonal abilities. Interpersonal is the ability to interact with other people, to socialize, to be able to express what I am feeling, to be able to understand what the other person is feeling. So interpersonal ability is very high. They become people like me who are into therapy, counseling, the ability to understand, talk, and discuss things. Then there are people who are intrapersonal uh, abilities. Intrapersonal is something that your ability to see within and put myself out there into the research, into understanding myself, high spiritual beings or intrapersonal things.
Okay.
Then there are naturalistic people. Naturalistic people are the people whom you is very interesting about the naturalistic people. If they plant a seed, it grows very naturally.
Green thumb.
Yes, they are naturally aligned to the nature. So they are the people who are doing miracles in agriculture, or they become the botany and all those kind of things. Finally, there are people who are bodily kinesthetic. Actually, all these 8 intelligences are there with everybody, but the proportions are different, and some people are they have a dominant area. So bodily kinesthetic people are the people who are into sports, games, a lot of body work, hard work in the body. Their physical abilities are very high.
Right.
So like that, there are 8 intelligences, and there are more intelligences like spiritual intelligence and things like that. So DMIT gives you a very comprehensive idea of all these things. Based on that, it gives career suggestions. It's a software. You feed the data you analyze the fingerprints, give a data into the software, and the software gives you a very detailed report, 60 pages report of all how the personalities is defined. And based on that, a career counselor does a counseling to the parents and to the child.
So do you analyze only the fingerprints, or do you read the aura around the fingerprints?
All 10 fingerprints.
Aura.
Patterns.
Do you read the aura around the 10 fingerprints, or just the fingerprint itself?
Just a fingerprint.
Okay.
The usual fingerprint scanner, 10 fingers. So
now, the other questions I had was, you mentioned about our past life, etc. Now, these things also are dependent on our karmas and how we work out our karmas. Recently, we just finished the period of Pitru Paksha, Pitru,
yes.
Where we pray for our ancestors. How much does that really affect us? And is there any way for us to kind of address these issues through what you do?
Yeah, we do something called ancestral healing. So it's a therapeutic process where we find the root causes of the issues. Usually, when we find a root cause of issue, it lands into a past life, or it lands into the current lives, the younger ages of us. In some cases, it lands into generations behind in a lineage. For example, issues that are repeating itself through generations, curses coming from multiple generations, and everybody going through kidney problems. Every generation goes through a kidney problem. Every generation goes through a heart trouble. Every generation goes through financial problems. Every generation, one generation makes money, one generation loses money. One generation makes money, one generation loses money. So now the entire family is playing a coping strategy, and a pattern is repeating across generations, even the cancer and kinds of things. So in such cases, we guide the client and we help them go beyond current life. We go beyond.
Yeah, I believe you have to go on mute, please, Prasadji. Thank you.
So, so it goes beyond our life. It goes further back to parents, then further back, further back, further back. We keep tracing that energy all the way up to the first personality, first ancestor where the problem actually started. And then we heal that person, and then bring out those healed energies down the line through the current generation. So this is called an ancestral healing sessions. So it is slightly different and deeper than the normal therapy sessions that we do, but it gives a very deeper healing to the entire family. But the focus of the therapy is to provide that healing to the client who is sitting in front of me. I have seen that whenever we have done that, if the family is receptive, entire family is also getting healed without repeating the therapy to anybody else. But this is more effective in family constellations rather than a normal therapy techniques. Normal therapy is all focused on the current person who is the client. In family constellation, it goes even more deeper. And family constellation, usually everybody heals in their own spaces at their own times. So
It's
it's
like
possible to
biology.
trace it. Yeah. I have done ancestral sessions for my own family. We had long running issues, uh, many curses and this, that, lot of financial problems. The most interesting case was that I was not receiving the money when I needed it. I am in the most need of money today, and the payment or the money that I'm expecting comes to me tomorrow. And today I go through hell. This was happening from a very long time in my space, and as I was studying about this, I found that this tendency is there everywhere in my family, in all my family members, across generations. It was there. So I worked with my brother to find the cause of it, and it went back around 7, 8 generations, where one of my ancestors died because he couldn't fulfill his needs. He committed a suicide, cursing all of his siblings that they were not helping, that he will feel what I am feeling right now, that I am not getting what I need in my need, and those who are able have the ability to help, they are not helping me. So he was in a complete victim zone, and he cursed everybody else and went through a lot of guilt. So that entire generation went through a lot of drama and trauma. So both drama and trauma got transferred through generations, and now everybody is playing the same drama. So
My
once
God.
I was able to release all those stuck emotions across lifetimes, across generations, in about 1.5, 2 months, my money flow issue started. It started. Now it comes when I actually am in need. There is no delay. There is no frustration out of it. So it was an
Wonderful.
interesting session. So many such sessions have happened before
And
with
that would have
many
helped the
clients.
entire family, all the relatives as well.
Yes.
Oh,
It
amazing.
usually, if the entire family is receptive enough to receive the energies, so then everybody also heals.
Wow.
Otherwise, it will definitely heal the client.
So you must be a shining star in your amongst your relatives.
Oh well, I do not really know whether it has reached everybody, because it's not been so long since I did that session. And also, I haven't asked because it is not my story.
Right. Now, we have spoken about Swadharma and how it helps young children. Going to the other end of the age spectrum, I'm asking you a very unusual but pertinent question, especially for many of us who are older or closer to the ending of this body's life. How do we prepare and make friends with death?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Making friends with the death is something very fancy to me now.
How do we
So
prepare for it? I mean, is there any way where we can prepare? I've heard that when we make peace with death or we make friends with it, then whenever it happens, even if it happens 20, 30 years later,
yeah,
you live your life to the fullest. So from that context, I'm
sure,
asking.
sure. There are two things that I believe is useful in this context. One is living in the present, living in the here and now. Another is definitely maintaining a very good boundary. The third one could be um, finding the true fear of death that is still stuck in me, the unhealed deaths of the past, which are still active in my space. Finding them, healing them. Once you understand that death is just a transition, death is just it is not the end of everything, it is just a beginning of a new story. You end this story and the new story starts for the next life. Once you understand this, okay, this is one chapter. Okay, now class 10th is over. Now I'm going to a different school. Once we understand this, I think it is easy to make peace with the death, because what does not allow us to make peace with the death is two things. One is that we want to hold on to so many things around us, and we don't understand what my story is, what I should not. So, uh, just to put up an example, I have a distant relative of mine. They're a couple, and they want to buy a house or a land, for that matter. They're already 70, 75 plus, and they're all worried that which uh, you know um, site we should buy, the existing house has problems, there are energy issues, we need to buy a new land, new things, that things like that. So it's like they are so much heckled, they are so much worried about what to do next, as if they will live for another 50, 60 years in that house, the the new land or new house. But the reality is, it is the next generation who is going to make the living in that house or not. They are the real beneficiaries. These people are not going to, move on in a short time, right? So when they need to understand that, okay, my story is going to end very shortly, and this story is going to become the next generation story. So I don't have to take the burden of choosing a site. I can let the children do it. It is time for me to hand over the responsibilities and understand, okay, this is my boundary now. I am limiting myself to doing what I can do, what is in my control, and I let them live in their own spaces. But no, those relatives, they still want to make choices on the behalf of their children. They still want to define where their children should live in next for the generations to come. Now, what is happening? One, there is no boundary. Another is that they want to hold on to those things now, as if it is there forever. So as long as letting go is difficult for me, making peace with the death is also difficult for me. One is fear of death, another is holding on, three is boundaries, and then understanding my own story. Once my story starts shifting, then it is very easy. I'm not sure if I have properly answered your question. I've done
No,
my best.
you definitely have, Adarsh. You have a lot. There's a lot of wisdom. It's very obvious that you are an old soul, much older than you appear. So yes, it made a lot of sense. There are a couple of questions here, maybe for Swati, because Prasadji was asking, do you have any reference for these sessions? And I mentioned there are YouTube videos. So is it possible to share here? Swati, how does he access? Do we have a library of YouTube videos, or do you type in School of Ancient Wisdom videos on YouTube? How does he access it? It's a question for Swati. Swati? Okay, she may be busy. So I think we'll get back to you on that, Prasadji. Maybe are you a part of the WhatsApp group, School of Ancient Wisdom WhatsApp group?
No, Ramesh.
Okay, fine. So what we'll do is
Yeah, I pinged my contact here.
You can just drop your number, sir, in the chat box so that I'll add you to the group.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
And is there any library, or does he just type in the School of Ancient Wisdom, Satsangs, Spiral of Wisdom in YouTube? How does it work, Swati?
So soon after the satsang, we record these sessions and we immediately upload it on the YouTube. All
Okay, so
the satsang sessions are there on the YouTube under the playlist of Thursday satsang.
Thursday Satsang, okay. School of Ancient Wisdom, Thursday Satsang. Isn't it?
Correct, sir.
Okay, I suppose that answers your question, Prasadji?
Yeah, I got it, Ramesh.
Right. Okay. Right. So if there are any more questions, please do open up. Okay. So if not, then it brings us to the end of this session. In fact, Adarshi, I mean, the way you've discussed, there are so many, I think, there's a lot of hidden knowledge that you hold within yourself. It's quite plain and clear, and we would like to hear more of it through different topics, perhaps in the future. And additionally, it'll be lovely to have a workshop with you at the School of Ancient Wisdom on a weekend.
Sure.
Probably can be arranged.
I am actually conducting a workshop next week. It's online again. It's purely on relationship healing, healing relationships. This topic is a very small part of it. It's a 3 hours workshop, more like a masterclass rather than a workshop, where I share a lot of ideas and techniques on how do you start healing a relationship. It could be very helpful for the people who are in toxic relationships. It could be helpful for people who want to have a harmonious relationship with somebody else. It could be good for friends, couples, or any kind of a relationship that you are looking for. I'm going to share various things, including the personalities and what kind of personality, what various aspects of relationships, and then how do you start working on it. Maybe spend 30-40 minutes every day on healing a relationship. Through therapy, everybody can work. This is a more of a conscious work that you can do every day, and start working on certain relationships which are really difficult in a position. So anybody
You
who
know,
is in need of it, please do share.
it occurs, just occurred to me as you speak that they say a very strong indicator of the success of a civilization is indicated by the strength of the families in that
Yes.
civilization, in that nation. Now, because in India we used to have this wonderful Gurukul system, which actually did imbibe those humane qualities, which gave rise to a person who can be a successful
Yeah.
spouse, a successful parent, and successful grandparent, and so on. Those qualities now are not really taught anymore. So, people like you, I believe, should maybe have programs where before one gets married, how to be a good husband or a good wife or a good parent, and what are the stages of personal growth throughout life. Just an idea. I think it'll make a big difference to many people's lives.
I have a feeling that many of people who are into therapy or who possess a similar knowledge, like I do, everybody feels that this topic can be touched only if I am perfect in that topic. I do not believe in that theory. I am open to share. I am open to even discuss about my own problems in a workshop sessions, because everybody goes through relationship problems.
Yeah, working.
Relationships are the major part of our life where a lot of learning happens as a soul. And it's an opportunity to learn. And if we don't learn, then we are failing. And the purpose of life still remains at large. So if we understand relationship dynamics properly, then it is easy to make peace with the death, as you asked earlier. It's going to be very, very easy, because lot of soul contracts we have, a lot of karmic connections we have, they all come back as, it's a soul group going on and on with the different dramas every lifetime. So when we start, getting that essence of a relationship, start understanding, okay, this is what this person is trying to teach me, and this is what I'm supposed to learn as a quality of life, then it is very easy for me. Then the life changes completely. That has happened to me, and that's why I thought, okay, it's a sensitive topic, but still I can, give it a try.
Oh, yes, very much. It's a very important topic. Sensitive and very needed to speak about. You have to take the bull by the horns.
Sure.
And Swati, I suppose you would have got the two numbers, Mr. Prasadji's and Divyaji's. And they've typed out the number.
Yes, sir, I have got it.
Okay. So that brings us to the end of today's very interesting session, very pertinent session. And it's a shame that many of our other satsangis could not yet join in. Probably they're just coming back from the holiday season. But it was very interesting. It was very uplifting as well. Adarsh, she has, he's like a basket of knowledge, and he practices he practices all that he speaks about. So that's a very powerful space to be in for a teacher, for a person who's spreading wisdom. So thank you so much, Adarshi. I think you made us better people just by us attending this
Welcome.
session.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I thank the universe for channelizing the most appropriate knowledge and wisdom that the audience needed today.
Yes, I believe that really did happen, and we'd love to have more sessions with you on different topics, because I'm very sure that there are many topics that we have yet to open, with yourself. So we would look forward to that in the future.
Sure.
So now we've come to the end of our satsang, Thursday satsang, and as is customary, we come to the last part, which is the Loka Samasta, where we send a collective prayer. When we all do the Loka Samasta, in the process, we connect with each other. That hidden light, that Atma Bindu, the soul in every one of us, that gets connected through the silence, through love. So that is where our collective prayer really reaches out. I've experienced this when we have collective prayer, that each and everyone's prayer is heard by the divine, and it's the force is multiplied because so many people are praying together. So please remember your loved ones, people in your community, remember their names, remember what problem they're going through and what solution you want to pray for them. It really can make a difference. And also please send out love and wisdom and peace to the world at large. That is the need of the hour at the moment. So please sit straight with your back, neck, and head aligned. Let the prana shakti flow through well. Take a nice deep breath. And let go. Observe the silence that is there within and around you. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you, everybody. The same time, same place next week for another wonderful session. Please do bring your friends along and others in your community. It can really touch and make a difference in their lives. Thank you. God bless. Thank you, Adarsh.